Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Steve from Natural Selection Angling, and we got a great one for you today. We're going to go over the 5 main characteristics of an ideal fishing lure pattern. It's going to be a great discussion. All right, the first thing that's important to our build is fluorescence. I'm going to be making some trout and salmon and walleye trolling spoons for this project, and I've done up all of these spoon blanks in fluorescent colors. Really nice looking. And then I went over the top of them with UVLS to protect that fluorescent paint layer. And this is what we've got. Some really colorful, kind of shiny spoon blanks. Okay, we have to set up the pattern, right? So what I'm going to do is trace this spoon out and make a template for the pattern so that whatever I decide to paint, I can paint it consistently across each spoon. So I'm going to mark the center of the spoon here, and then I'm going to split the remaining sides again in half. So I'll have a symmetrical spoon that's divided into 4 pieces. Now I'm just going to lay out where I want to have the features. This spoon's going to get a pattern that I call 5 eyes. It's going to be 5 dots, 3 on one side and 2 on the other. I'll just trim this down a little bit so it's easier to work with, and I'm going to go ahead and punch some holes in it. So as usual, these don't have to be perfect. I mean, it's not a contest here to see who can make the most symmetrical bait, but we want to have consistency, right? So a little bit of basic layout and a little bit of prep work is going to give us a lot of consistency. And I'll just poke a hole in each end where the openings on the spoon are so that I can line those up. Okay, this is looking pretty good. And here's the analog for the smaller one. All right, let's get a test fit on this. Yep, that's it. I put some painter's tape over the top of both of these stencils and popped the holes again through the painter's tape because I know these stencils, they're made out of cardboard, right? They're going to get water-based acrylic paint sprayed through them. They're going to get eaten up and then they'll get all raggedy. So the tape will help me preserve it for a few spray sessions. Now these clips will hold the stencil flat against the spoon. Okay, in order to get a really good true color out of our secondary color, we're going to prime with white first. I'm going to show you two ways to do this. The first way is like this, where we're just going to go ahead and spray all of the holes and fill them in with white. And then between coats, we're going to hit it with a hair dryer. Okay, once these are done, we hit them with the hair dryer, come back for the second coat. Just make sure you're thorough here, because once you remove the stencil, if you have to put it back on, you might have misalignment issues. So try to do these in one shot. Okay, as I was taking this off, the spoon fell off the stick, so it's off. But that's what we have. 5 white dots against a fluorescent yellow background. And we'll go ahead and do the larger spoon. We're just going to set it up the same way. And now, instead of using a hair dryer between coats, because it's very dry today and cool, the paint's drying really quickly, I'm just going to spray it on, and then I'm going to flash it using the airbrush with air only. So you'll see I'll paint this, I'll never turn the air off. I'll just paint all the spots, and then I'll blow them dry using air from the nozzle. Then I'll go back and paint them again. Okay, let's see what we got here. Just be careful when you take the stencils off. Make sure you pick them straight up and don't slide them. Okay. Looks good. Okay, now the second thing, contrast. We want to use complementary colors. This is the color wheel. This is the base color of our spoon. And so we want to use this color as a complementary color for contrast. So we're going to use purple. And this is 35 micron Techno Glow Fluorescent Purple UV non-encapsulated glow powder. I'm using 35 microns because I want it to be smooth and I don't want a grainy appearance to my features. I can use uncoated particles here because it's not going to come in contact with water. It's being used with UV resin. And I want the fluorescent UV powder so that I have the purple color from the fluorescent. I have the UV, which you can see under UV light. And I also have the glow. I'm going to use the dotting tool to apply this. What I'm aiming for is to create a dot that's just about the same size as those white spots, but a little bit less, and you'll see this makes a neat effect later. So I don't want these to continue to expand and get bigger than I want them to be, so each one I'm going to hit with the UV light to set it. It's not going to be enough to cure it all the way through, especially with a dark tint. So I'll hit it several more times off camera, and then I'll leave these in the direct sun for a while too. Just be careful. You don't want to drag this into a place where it's not supposed to be, and you don't want to work too quickly and get air bubbles. Okay, that one's done. Moving on to the big brother. Make sure you continuously stir this suspension, okay? Because the glow powder is heavier than water, and so when you put it into a medium, it tends to sink, okay? So it'll just sink to the bottom. You want to make sure you continuously stir it as you apply it. Alternatively, you could do the opposite as well and let it all sink to the bottom on the spoon before you harden it, and that might have a neat looking effect too. That looks really good, man. The third thing, we need some glow. We took care of that in the same step because this powder is fluorescent, UV, and glow. Looking good, right? Okay, that brings us to our fourth element. It's going to be UV. Now, we added some UV with that glow powder, but I'm going to add a coat of UV across the whole spoon. So this is just a UV paint for like blacklight posters. Createx makes it as well. But I just thinned this out and I applied it to the spoon on the bottom and not the one on the top. And you can see the difference, right? The paint's fluorescing, but you can see the difference in the UV too. It's a lot stronger on the larger spoon, right? 40-30 clear over the top of what I just did to protect everything before I move on to the clear coat. All right, clear coat time. I'm going to put the hardener in, and before I add the resin, I'm going to add some metallic mica powder to kind of give this a sheen and a shine and a sparkle. And this is white metallic. I used a little bit too much. Probably want to use about half of what I used here, which is very, very little. You really only want to use for 2 spoons like this, like a 1/16 of a teaspoon. A little glob of it about the size of the head of a plastic pin. All right, so this is too heavy, and you'll see what I have to do with this to make sure that it stays even. But let's go ahead and apply this top coat. If you need full instructions on how to do the top coat, you can watch this video right here called Perfect Clear Coat Every Time. So as I'm laying this epoxy resin onto the spoon, I'm seeing like these metallic flake particles kind of ganged up and streaking because there's too much. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around and working with the corner of the brush in little circles to make swirls where I see lines and spread that powder out a little bit. Onto the turner. All right, let's get the other one. Same process here. Good liberal coat and make sure all of the metallic flakes are spread around. Of course, make sure you use the right amount so you don't have to struggle, but it is what it is. Got to deal with it now. All right, it's looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and get this into the turner as well. Okay, this is what we've got. You can see once they're out from under that harsh fluorescent light that they don't look kind of speckled or dirty from that powder. It'll take on a more natural appearance now. All right, some UV light and some glow, and it's daylight, and there's daylight shining basically right on these, but you can see they're still glowing. Okay, so 6 hours later, we added the second coat, and now it's the next day. And one of the things I like to do to kind of check and see how we're doing is I like to just pull out the spent epoxy from the cup and touch it and see what it feels like. It still should be soft and pliable, but it shouldn't be sticky or tacky. This is gonna inform how you handle these pieces. So right now we can move ahead. Looking pretty good. This is a good news, bad news thing. This is the good news. This looks great. Now here comes the bad news. When I went to do the second coat on this one, I dropped it on the floor and it's ruined. And that sucks, but we gotta recover quickly from these losses and move on. Stuff happens and you can't dwell on stuff like that. This one, on the other hand, looks pretty darn good. We're going to take care of this backside and clean off the overspray from the build. So we're just going to use some ISO 99 and give this a good cleaning with a soft cloth, turning the cloth often and making sure to get off all of the extraneous materials. Once we get this clean, we can now see our fifth important element, flash. All right, you need something to catch the fish's eye, and the backside of the spoon, especially with the hex pattern, is super flashy. So that's going to be seen from a long ways away. Okay, we covered a lot today, but let's go back through and do a quick recap about the 5 elements of an amazing pattern for a trolling spoon. The first one, fluorescence. This is important. Nice, bright, day glow colors. Number 2, contrast. You always want to have contrast in your baits. Number 3, glow. And we used the Techno Glow for this and it worked great. Number 4, ultraviolet. Really important, especially for days with the bright blue skies. Number 5, flash. This is a signal for a fish from a long ways away. Okay, so we're just gonna hook these up now, or this one, since I only have one now. This is gonna get a size 7 split ring, rated at 3x strong. And I'll just put this on over a piece of masking tape so I don't damage the finish. Okay, once the split ring is on, then we'll go ahead and add the hook. This is going to be a size 1/0 treble, rated at 4x strong. I'll just get this started in the ring and then I'll put it on with my hand. There's no sense in risking scratching anything or whatever. Just put it right on. You can hear it snap into the ring. And that's a wrap, man. So if we follow these rules, what do we get? And how satisfying is this thing, right? Look at that shine. Beauty. Let's give it a little dose of the ultraviolet. And this is what it'll look like in low light daytime conditions, which looks banging. Now let's see what it'll look like at night. And here you have it. Man, this thing is just absolutely popping. So if you guys have any suggestions about how you like to build the ultimate pattern, leave that down in the comments. If you have a pattern that you want me to explore or build, leave that down in the comments, okay? It's been great having you with me here today. This has been a really awesome episode. I've got a lot more coming, but I need your help. So please like and subscribe and set the alert bell. Take care of yourselves and each other.